Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, December 9th, 2024. What's going on? How are ya? How's it going, man? How was your weekend, man? I actually had a great weekend. I really did. Look at me sounding surprised. I actually, I had a weekend and I enjoyed it. God damn it. I didn't do much of anything. I took a drum lesson, finally. I haven't taken a drum lesson in forever. I've sort of been revisiting some Alex Van Halen stuff that always confused me. And I'm still confused because he's a beast, but all of a sudden, a lot more of it makes sense as far as I can understand it or whatever. So I played my drums there, and I'm trying to have like Billy Chill days, which I don't know how to do. I just fucking try to just sit down and do nothing during the course of a day, and what happens is then my demons catch up with me. So, if you have somebody in your life and they just cannot fucking sit still and they're always moving around, what do they used to call people like that? Oh, he's always fidgety. He's always fussing about and blah, blah. It's like, no, he or she had a lot of fucked up shit that happened to him when they were a kid. Like, if there's somebody that you live with and they move about the house like a moth or a bat, yeah, that means something. I don't have any background in psychology, all right? Obviously. But, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that some fucking shit happened to them and they're trying to avoid it. In other words, what I do must be what everybody else does. That's a classic human point of view, Like these idiots, I just meet on the road who just, wherever they're from, that's their worldview, which is understandable, but there's no other worldview other than their worldview. That was a big thing when I was growing up, too. When I grew up outside of Boston, I was like, this is how the world is. And anything that goes against that is either stupid, wrong, or gay. Which has got to be the dumbest way you could ever go through life. And I did that for the first, the first 10 years of your life, the first 10 years of your life, you're gathering information from people who think anything different is stupid, whatever the fuck I just said. Stupid, dumb, or gay, or whatever the fuck. That they put all of that shit into your head. And then in your teen years, you start to apply it. And then in your 20s, you begin your journey as a fucked up adult. And hopefully you start to turn the ship around in your 30s. If you're open to it. If you're open to it. I don't know. If you're open to new information and maybe the way you look at the world isn't the way it should be. You know what's annoying me about this kid who killed this CEO is none of these news programs are talking about the incredible lack of empathy from the general public about this because of how these insurance companies treat people when they are at their most vulnerable, after we've all given them our money every fucking month, and now we finally need you, and all you do is deny us. And then these pussies and all of these things are taking the pictures of their CEOs off their websites. I got to be honest with you, okay? I love that fucking CEOs are fucking afraid right now. You should be. By and large, you're all a bunch of selfish, greedy fucking pieces of shit, and a lot of you are mass murderers. You just don't pull the trigger. That's why it looks clean. That's why these people look, oh my God, he was just, walking into a hotel. It's like, okay, but what was his job? What did he do? What was the results of it? Did I tell you, out here in 2026, they're going to not have a sell-by date on food anymore, and they're trying to make it like they're trying to save regular people money? It's like, no, they're going to let grocery stores sell food past the fucking sell-by date because they weren't legally allowed to sell it. And then, they probably have to eat that They have to eat, no pun intended. They have to eat the cost of that. So now they're going to pass it on to us. Okay, and that thing went through with Democrats and Republicans. Once again, selling us all out. They don't give a fuck. I saw this thing on the internet that was allegedly, it was Al Capone that came up with the sell-by date. I refuse to believe that that's true. I feel like that lives in the world of Fred Rogers. You remember Mr. Rogers? And then all of a sudden there was this rumor that he had sleeve tattoos and he was in Vietnam and he fucking killed a bunch of people. That rumor got out there. Maybe this one's true. I have no idea. All right? But, I will tell you that this country was way better when the Italians ran it, meaning the mob. It was much better because what they were doing was illegal. So they were just, through the fact that it was illegal, they were sort of, I can never remember what's the proper terminology in business. Not governed. They were regulated. Just by the simple fact that what they were doing wasn't legal. And then the problem was they got rid of the mob, and then all the corporations took all of the mob scams, both the government and these corporations. They're running the same scams. Running the same scams. The fucking, I've talked about this before. Like they used to have then they used to run the numbers, which they stole from black people. That became the lottery. Loan sharking, ridiculous interest rates is what banks are doing. And I always love people, what's the difference between a banker and a loan sharker? What's the difference? And they're like, well, a bank doesn't have to break your legs. Yeah, because they have the law on their side. Make no mistake, if they didn't, they'd be breaking your fucking legs. They don't give a fuck. And then all of these corporations profiting off of fucking war. They are murderers. The people that fucking poisoned our food supply and giving people cancer, they're fucking murderers. They're just not standing there with a gun, shooting you in the back when you go into the grocery store so it doesn't look that way. It's fucking unreal. And I tell you, it's really annoying how hard they're trying to find this kid that shot that guy. Okay? How much they're trying to solve that fucking crime, where if it was just some regular fucking jerk-off walking in there, are they trying that hard? I know they're trying to solve it. I'm not shitting on the cops here, but I'm saying that the political pressure would not be there. I don't know. I guess one fucking healthcare person, company, like they only covered anesthesia for a certain amount of time. Do you realize how fucking evil that is? Like they sit in meetings and have that. And now they're like, no, we'll cover it for the whole. Oh, you're going to cover the whole operation? Is that what it is? I don't have to wake up halfway through a fucking appendix removal? Appendectomy? Anyway, so I feel like if the motive is what they're saying, it was inevitable. There's only so long that you can go around doing that and treating people that way, in the evil way that they treat people, before somebody's going to retaliate and get the right person or the wrong person, because I don't know anything about that guy. I'm just saying. And it's amazing that story, it isn't amazing. It's expected that it's not going into mainstream media. They're just treating it like, oh my God, it was a cold-blooded murder and that's fucking it. And they're ignoring the general public's reaction to it. That's what I think is going on, even though I don't watch the news at all. Why don't you watch the news, Bill? I guess because I was disappointed so many times by it. I'm making a joke, but it's the truth. All right. Guess what I did this week on the Anything Better podcast? I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to bet dumb shit because I don't recognize the game anymore. If I watch one more fucking game where some team is up by 25 points and then all of a sudden it's Tyler minutes to go out fucking game. I mean, how many times? It happens like every fucking weekend. Every fucking weekend that happens. I don't know if they changed the fucking rule. I don't know if it's because there's so much other shit to watch out there that they just have to make. This is the most incredible fucking game since the 1 o'clock game. Oh my God, it's the Sunday game going to be even crazier? It's not how football was. Games were over in the third fucking quarter. They were done, and that was it. It wasn't like a fucking Rocky fight every fucking weekend. So anyway, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to bet all dumb shit. I'm going to bet everything that doesn't fucking make sense. And guess what? Out of the 4 games, I bet the Monday night game. I'm 3-0. Fucking 3-0. I bet the Panthers. I didn't remember who they were playing. They're supposed to get the shit kicked out of them. I'm like, that won't happen. Right? That won't fucking happen. They played the Eagles. I had the Panthers getting like fucking 12.5 or something. I'm like, that's not going to happen. For some reason, the Panthers will probably even win this fucking game. And they came damn close to doing it, but the guy dropped the ball. I didn't watch a second of it. I don't watch NFL anymore. I don't, okay? It's just like, it's kind of like music. Music has passed me by. I don't understand. I don't understand it. There's so many people out there with beautiful voices. Why am I listening to it like I'm getting serenaded by a robot? I hate that auto-tune sound. It fucking drives me insane. And then just knowing that it's probably somebody who can't even fucking sing. And then they're singing into this auto-tune thing as if they can sing. Like going on these runs or whatever. So I don't fuck with that. I took the Panthers, and then I took the Rams because they're playing the Bills, and the Bills should kick the shit out of them, right? 3.5 point spread. Why is it so fucking low? Why? Because the Rams end up winning the fucking game. And then I took the Buccaneers. I don't remember who they were playing, but I just believe in Baker Mayfield. And, when Colin Cowherd went after him, and then he went on his show, and he was still just sitting there, completely unathletic, not getting picked in gym class, telling this pro athlete that he's a complete waste of a pick, fucking with his money, and then he's done all these great things, and I've yet to see that guy be like, all right, I was wrong about this guy. This guy's a fucking winner. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to bet on Baker Mayfield. And they won and they covered. So tonight, I don't even know who's playing, but it's the Dallas Cowboys that has my third cousin under center. They don't have a redhead coach, and they have a redheaded quarterback now. Have you noticed that? They're sort of ginger-friendly. I feel like they're allies over there. I don't know if he's a redhead. Anyway, so I'm taking them. I forget who they're playing, but they're playing some team that's, should kick the shit out of them. So that's my new way of going. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't say that people can't play anymore. That is bullshit. It's just sort of like what is happening in all facets of art is the people that are rising to the top are not the most talented people. It's the people that are best at the internet. Because I'll tell you this. Old man Billy, through my wife likes watching those tiny desks on YouTube, the NPR channel. Hang on a second. Tiny desks, sort of like the, I would say the liberal Austin City Limits, where like Austin City Limits, I just assumed it was a conservative show because it was in Texas. I've never bought this shit that Austin is liberal. I think they're liberal for Texas. So anyway, I'm probably going to mess up all of these names. So Nia goes, can we watch this tiny desk thing? And I was like, absolutely, because, the bands always play live, and I've just watched enough of these, and they have killer fucking bands. So there was this artist who came on, Dochi, I think is how you say the name, and she comes on with one of the best bands I've seen in fucking years. Like, everybody was destroying it. And she was like just this supernova of talent. Like one of these people that makes me question, like, how am I also in show business? I'm sort of a one-trick pony, right? I tell jokes, I act like an asshole, I don't apologize, and then I leave. You know, that's kind of that's the hallway of talent that I have. She goes out absolutely destroyed and then had a band that was playing at the level that she was performing at. And I've been trying to get the names of the people in the band because everyone was killing. All I got so far is the bass player, because I hate how bands, like, nobody knows the players anymore. And I've gone to these fucking concerts with my wife, and it's like the star is out on the stage. Like, I went to go see Lady Gaga one time, which, by the way, that was the last concert my wife has ever gone with me, because I she didn't like my behavior at it. Let's. What happened was, some of you who listen to this podcast remember this story. I was watching the Patriots during the day, and they lost a playoff game. They got smoked by the Ravens. So I was like a six-pack in and a couple of whiskeys. It's back when old Billy Boozeface, right? And then I was going to go see Lady Gaga. And I went down there. You know, she's great. She can sing great and all that. I'm not fucking shitting on her or anything. But, like, I go there, and, like, she has a live band, but they were, like, in, like, this castle behind her. And, like, they basically put a fucking house in front of the band. It was a castle, this facade, and there was like these little windows, so I could see sort of the drummer's head, and he was killing it, and I couldn't watch him fucking play. And then she's out there riding on a horse and all of this shit, and she's going like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. She kept saying that, right? And then she goes to her backup dancer like, fucking so-and-so, do you give a fuck? He's like, I don't give a fuck. And they just kept doing that. I understand. What do you mean you don't give a fuck? I paid for a fucking ticket. You better give a fuck. Give me a goddamn show. Everybody but the horse was telling me that they didn't give a fuck on stage, and then I just couldn't take it anymore. And it was just bad timing. Right as the crowd wasn't screaming and it got quiet, I went, Jesus fucking Christ. So anyway, the rest of the concert happens, and then we go home, and the next morning I can feel my wife. She's giving me the cold shoulder there. And I knew she heard what I said, so I said, I'm sorry. And she goes, yeah, all right, whatever. And I was like, come on. Nia, I said it once. She goes, you said it like 6 times. I didn't remember because I was drunk. So anyway, but that's been my thing. Like, I went to go see Madonna, and she's singing the track. She doesn't even have a fucking band there. I just, where is the fucking band? So anyway, now there is a band, so I'm trying to track down the names, because these players, like the trumpet player, the bass player, the drummer, everybody, the saxophone player, the backup singers, her hype woman, whatever the hell you're supposed to call them. The only name I tracked down was the bass player, who was unfucking believable. I'm not going to say the name right. Zuri. Oh, here we go. Applyby. All right, look that name up. Zuri, Zuri, and I'm not going to disrespect her by attempting to say her name. Because she played so amazing. It's like apply by by Applyby. It's only 25 minutes long. There's so much shit out there. If you just want to see a bunch of artists performing at the highest level, I highly recommend that. And like I said, this isn't me. Like, my wife told me about it, all right? And I was just sitting there, and I was like, all right, I'll watch this. And I was immediately, within 2 seconds, I was like, oh my God, this is a whole other level. And that's where it started, and it just kept going up. And it was probably the fastest 25 minutes I can remember in a long time. So I'm hoping that this woman is on tour and she's bringing that band. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that that's what's happening. Because I don't want to go to any more shows where I'm watching somebody and there's no fucking band. Or they're in a house for whatever fucking reason. I love that. Oh yeah, I'm thinking like this castle theme. It's like a castle theme. No, it isn't. It's you're putting a fucking wall between the band and yourself. I know a guy did a big tour for this artist, and they played underneath the stage. All eyes must be on me all the time. Anyway, check that fucking one out. It's the Tiny Desk series. Check out that whole series, the Tiny Desk series, man. It's amazing. And what's funny is my stupid generation is always talking about how nobody can play instruments anymore. And the reality is there's a million, not a million, there's a whole bunch of people in this generation that are unbelievable players. You just have to find them, which is hard because, like I said, there's like, you know, there's being good at what you do, and then there's being good at the internet. And, you know, the problem I think female artists have right now is there's so many whoas walking around in their fucking underwear on Instagram, like getting a zillion clicks. Like, how do you get your shit, you know, in front of that? I don't know. All I know is I just picked 3 fucking games this week because I was so sick of trying to like predict what I thought was going to happen. I finally realized that whatever I thought was going to happen wasn't going to happen. And I am now into this total conspiracy theory that they have manipulated the game with the rules, the officiating, and got in bed with gambling now, that like most games now are going to come down to the wire on purpose, not because it's better for the game. It's because it's better for their wallets, because you're going to watch until the end. You're not going to change the channel, and they're going to get money for all the advertising. All right? All right. So anyway, I had a great weekend here with the kiddos. I hung with my son. Like Saturday, I hang with my son, and then on Sunday, I hang with my daughter. That's how I do the weekends, right? Whatever, the daddy-daughter day, and then I hang with my son the previous day. So he just wakes up and told me that he wanted to go to the drum store. Because I was asking him, hey, you want to go out, you know, into the garage and go play drums? He goes, I want to go to the drum store. I said, all right, let's go. So I took him over to the best drum store in LA, Professional Drum Shop on Vine, just south of Willoughby. Oh, Willoughby. And I go in there, and my son, he always has to play like all the drum kits that are on the floor. And what I absolutely love about my son, and I am like so proud of him, is he is not shy at all. Like little Billy Burr would have been like, playing like quietly and all that stuff. He doesn't give a shit. He goes in and just plays. And the only problem I have in that store is that once I get him in the store, I can't get him to leave. And then it becomes like a sad thing because he's leaving, right? And, what's funny is, Jerry and Stan, the brothers that own it, they're starting to get to know him. And I just love that. And I just go, one of these days he's going to be coming in there buying drumsticks or a cymbal or something like that. And they're going to be going, I remember when you were this high, and they've been doing that forever. And that if you ever come out to LA and you play drums, you have to go to that store. And you have to understand that everyone from Max Roach, John Bonham, Tony Williams, oh God, Steve Jordan, Vinnie Colaiuta, all the guys, Steve Gadd, all of these guys, since way back when they first came around, have been going to that shop. And some of the bass drum heads that they have on the hanging up, it's unbelievable. It's like a working museum, and it's also at the same time totally up to date. And it's everything that Guitar Center isn't. Like, it's personable. If your gear's messed up, they can repair it in the back. They have all these relationships with all these drum companies and everything. It's why I prefer to go to privately owned businesses, because the service is just always better. Always better. And that's a way to get back at these CEOs. You don't have to shoot them in the back as they go into a hotel to get a Grand Slam breakfast. You can just start going to mom and pop places and deal with a little more, inconvenience. I know you like going into the big box stores, but whatever. Why don't you try to do both? Start with that and just compare your experiences as you just sit there, like a fucking orphan in a Best Buy, walking around trying to find somebody to help you. You know, or you walk into a mom and pop. Hey, how are you? Can I help you? They're like right there for you. So anyway, so he's in the drum shop, and I'm trying to get him out. We're in there 45 minutes. And I'm like, all right, buddy, he's like, no, I want to play, and then he has to go over to the hi-hats and hit all the hi-hats. And it's so hard for me to get him out of there. He has this ear-to-ear grin the entire time he's in there. He just thinks it's the greatest place on earth. But, eventually, it's like, I got to get him home. I got to get him out of there for nap time. Or I'm just old and I'm tired of standing up, So I had to bribe him to get him out of there. He was like, Dad, I want to play this. Blah, blah, blah. And I finally just look at him. I go, hey, buddy. I go, you want to get a donut? And then he looks immediately right over me and he goes, a donut? I almost bursted out laughing. And I go like, yeah. You want to get a donut? And he just goes, yeah. Like super enthusiastic. Like the same energy of Will Ferrell in Elf. Like, Santa! He like, and he immediately like jumped off the stool. And then I just love him. He just says goodbye to everybody. He shakes hands with everybody. He's a little fucking man, right? And then we got in the car and we went to go get a donut. So, drums and donuts, that's what works with my son, right? And then yesterday with my daughter, I've discovered this new activity because I always, take her to the playground and stuff. She likes that ninja climbing stuff and all of that. And she's really good at it. But she also likes going to the mall and I was thinking, oh, God, I'm going to buy more shit we don't need. She's totally content to just look at stuff and not buy anything and then go get something to eat, So that's what we ended up doing. And like sweat, it felt like 9 times she said to me going like, Dad, this is really fun. This is really fun. Of course, she likes the fucking Apple store, which kills me. But, they just grow up with these goddamn computers and they relate to them. So I was like, all right, She went to the Apple store twice. I don't know. Those fucking people. Geniuses. So dumb. My cell phone's all fucking cracked. So I was asking, how long does it take you to change out a screen? And they go, well, what phone do you have? It's just like, dude, generally speaking, before you go to the fucking iPad and try to find my Retina or whatever the hell you have on that fucking thing. He goes, about 2 hours. I go, great. I don't have that time today, but that's good to know. Thank you. And then I get the fuck out of there. So anyway, I had like 2 great days with that. I discovered all these great new musicians on that Dochi tiny desk. It's been a while since I've seen a band playing at that fucking level. I'm just saying. So I'm really hoping that I can see that band live. That would be incredible. But if I can't, that's all right. I can follow each musician and see when they're playing, so I can at least go see the individual bands. All right, now where am I here? Oh my God, 29 minutes in. Oh, Billy Babbleface here. The Van Halen song I'm working on is that song "I'm the One," which was like my favorite cut on that album because. They played everything else to death. They Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me, and whatever that next song was, they always played that one. And I always think I'm the One. Like I think Eddie's playing on that is just fucking crazy. And then Alex, that double bass triplet shuffle. And then you got the Diamond Dave Lounge Lizard breakdown. Ba-ba-da, shoo-ba-doo-ah, for no fucking reason. I just felt like that song out of everything encapsulated sort of like the recipe of that band, and Michael Anthony's amazing bass playing and high harmonies on it. So anyway, I've been working on that, and I was leading with my left foot because it made sense to me to come down with the right foot. And then I went to my drum teacher, Dave Elich, and he goes, you know what? For whatever fucking reason, it's easy for people to lead with the right and play the downbeat with the left. And we were trying to figure out why that is. And it's like, oh, that's because, a lot of times you're tapping the downbeat with your left foot on the hi-hat. Now it's just on the bass drum. And it's not weird to play an offbeat with your right foot, but it's way more weird to play the offbeat, the upbeat, the offbeat or whatever with your left foot. Because you don't do that a lot with the hi-hat, but with the bass drum, that's all boom. You do that all the fucking time while you're tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 with your left foot. So that was kind of cool. But like, I don't know, I'm kind of getting it up to speed, and it's exciting because I never thought I'd be able to even attempt that song. And then secondly, by learning that song, I don't have to deal with my fucking demons. So it's all working for me. All right, with that, let's do some of the reads here for the week. Oh, look who it is, everybody. It's Simply Safe. If you ever worry about the safety of your home and family, there's no better time to act. Hey, some CEOs ought to get this shit. Right now, Simply Safe is extending its massive Black Friday deal for my listeners. Get 50% off a new Simply Safe security system. Simply Safe is the home security I trust. Get 50% off today just by visiting simplysafe.com/Burr. Sorry, I got the hiccups here. That's simplysafe.com/Burr. This is your last chance to protect your home at Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. If someone's lurking around or acting suspiciously, those agents see them in real time. Talk to them directly. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Set off your spotlight and even call the police before they've had a chance to break in. Plus, there are no long-term contracts, no cancellation fees, and it's around $1 a day for all the protection. They must have fun at Simply Safe. When an intruder comes walking up and just be like, I can see you. Then the intruder's like, fuck. I already called the cops. Simply Safe is extending its massive thing. I already said that, Black Friday. This is your chance to claim their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/Burr. That's simplysafe.com/Burr. Hey, there's no safe like Simply Safe. Oh, look who it is, everybody. It's game time. Game Time has new features called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to your favorite live event even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Priority Game Time Picks curations makes it easier to save more on sports, concert, comedy, theater, etc., all in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views, get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BURR, B-U-R-R, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code, spell out BURR, I already did, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time! All right. And with that, and we're back. Let's do... Oh, we got a controversy here. We got some reads here. So anyway, somebody, somehow I brought up John Cougar or John Mellencamp or John Cougar Mellencamp. I mean, tell me that guy shouldn't be investigated going by all those aliases. I think what it was is he was John Mellencamp, and then the label said, you should go by John Cougar. They were big on fucking last names that were animals. You know, Eddie Horowitz became Eddie Rabbit. He wasn't Horowitz. I don't know what his last name was, but it was Eddie Rabbit. It was John Cougar. You know, Freddie Pheasant. I don't know. There must be another one. You always have to have three, though, for people to believe. As long as you have three, you know, if you have three examples, people believe you. Two, they're like, this guy's full of shit. Four, they're like, shut the fuck up already. But three is a magic number. Yes, it is. When you bullshit people, I'll give you the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We believe in one God. People like fucking parrots, just repeating the shit. On the third day, he rose again, right? He said, on the second day, he came, get the fuck out of here. He didn't come back in 2 days. On the fourth day, what the fuck was he waiting for? The third day, oh my God. I believe I can fly. So anyway, I was talking about that John Cougar Mellencamp song, Jack and Diane. And he goes, sucking on chili dog outside the shady tree. Take out my fucking dick, and then I start to pee. Whatever the fuck he says, right? Jackie's gonna be, football. You gotta sing the whole song. It's a hit. Even if you don't know the lyrics. So anyways, I was saying, sucking on chili dog. I always thought that was a fucking disgusting reference for, you know, him getting blown out there in the fields of Indiana. You know, one night in the field, there's corn there. The next night, there's a cross burning. And the next night, John Cougar Mellencamp fucking pheasant face is getting his dick sucked. Like, that's what I thought it meant. So somebody goes, no, chili dog was it's like a slush puppy. But that's what, there was a chain of restaurants called Chili Dog. And I guess that was what the drink was called. That's what somebody claimed last week. But this week, somebody's saying, no, that is not what happened. Sucking on chili dog - correction. Bill, last week that guy was wrong about this. It's about chili dogs at Tasty Freeze. Diane sits on Jack's lap eating a dog. Here's the video where she's eating it on John's lap. All right. I mean, I don't know. The whole, can we just say that it's a fucking really weird lyric? You know, you eat a chili dog. You don't suck on it, right? And to use that as sort of a sexual innuendo, which I know he had to have been, when chili looks like shit, I mean, he's got to have some German blood in him, no? Is it a song about scat? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, it's Monday. I have a bunch of shit to do. And the last thing I need to do is fucking spend my time trying to figure out what that lyric means. I have no idea. All right? You know what? It's art. It means whatever you want it to mean. Do you know what I mean? I'm just looking for a reaction. All right. The price of a haircut in Boston. Men versus women. All right. Well, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of things I don't know how much they cost, and a haircut is one of them. Oh, my God. I have not had to pay for a haircut. Woo! I'm going on like a decade. It's like I bought an electric car, and I have no idea how much gas costs. You know what's funny? Those fucking electric cars. I was so into those things. Yeah, fuck these other companies. It's all the same shit. You're just going into a new kind of evil. A new kind of waste, a new shit that's bad for the environment. And now people are saying, like, you drive around electric cars like you're riding around on a fucking cell phone. And, you know, your cell phone, you keep in your pocket. They're starting to do studies that can cause cancer of the balls there. You're sitting on that giant fucking battery. I don't know. I'm telling you. Oh, Billy's having a sale on his vehicles. Everything must go. And I'm going to drive a fucking analog car, gas combustion engine, 5-speed. Okay, I'm starting off maybe looking at a BMW, but I'm not going to buy a car until I know, like, until I don't know. It really gets me excited. I haven't found one yet, but I'm going to start with an older German car. because I still remember I rented a BMW 3 Series in the 2000s, and it was one of the most fun cars I ever drove. I loved the size of it, and it was just an automatic, and it was so much fucking fun, and it was tight as a drum. This is before they started like, trying to lease their cars out to college age kids, and they weren't making them right. Like there's a period in the I think it was last decade where they weren't making them right. I guess they're making them right again, but they got a little American car in the 80s type of deal, which was really bad for the brand. Like speaking of which, what about Jaguar with their new logo? Like talk about like in what fucking world are we bringing all of that shit into buying a car? And like you're a corporation. You give your ally is money. All right, so I don't give a fuck what your bullshit. All the leaves are brown and our sign is pink. You don't give a fuck. All right, you give a fuck about fucking British racing green cash. Fuck out of here. Trying to be fucking socially active with a new car label. All I hear is your cars aren't selling well, so now you got to like brand yourself. Anyway, where the hell are all the goddamn? This always happens to me. I touch my phone and then it goes back to the top. I touch my phone when I think about you. All right, the price of a haircut in Boston, men versus women. Dear Billy Balderdash. I've heard that word before, balderdash. Is that an insult? Is it a character in a classic tale? I don't know. All right. I, a man, recently instigated a fight against 9 women about the cost of haircuts. Oh, really? I like this guy. That's great instinct. My wife, he says, had a bunch of female friends over, and they were all talking about how expensive it is to get a haircut. We're all drinking wine. I'm being quiet. We live in Boston, USA, where things are very expensive. I sat there listening to them complaining about how much it costs to get a haircut. My wife said she paid $450 for her last haircut. My wife's hair is about halfway down her back, and it's blonde and beautiful. Her friends all agreed on the price, and they have a variety of hair. Black women with different styles, white women with short hair, native women with long black hair down to their butt. While they all bemoaned the cost of hair, I was doing mental math. I'm a regular white male with boring brown hair. Don't say that about yourself. You're a special white guy, and your brown hair isn't boring. It's all how you wear it, honey. I get a haircut about every 4 weeks. A haircut in Boston, including a tip, costs anywhere between $40 and $65. So the average price is $52.50. But let's round that down to $50. Sir, what you're doing right now is you're presenting a rational argument. Now, this is going to make sense to all the men out there. This is not going to make sense to them. And a lot of times, both men and women, when they're complaining, they just want to get it out, okay? And everybody feels that whatever is happening to them, generally speaking, is the worst fucking thing happening and the most important thing right now. But what are you going to do? You're sitting there, 6 against 1, and you're going to come at them with logic. Gee, and you got into an argument with them? Anyways, $50, 52 weeks a year times a haircut every 4 weeks equals 13 haircuts a year. $50 per cut times 13 is $650. I'm a hairy Irish potato guy, so toss in a few times where I need to pay $10 to get my neck cleaned up for a wedding or an event, and even as a conservative estimate, I'm spending close to $700 a year on haircuts as a basic man. Okay. So rather than just keeping that information to yourself and then calling one of your guy friends and laughing about it, which is what an older guy does, if they're mature. Because I'll be honest with you, I would do the same fucking thing. But there's a 20% chance now that I wouldn't, where before it was 100%, I was all in. Boots on the ground, as they say in military. The military. I finally spoke up and made this point to all the women, and they all berated me. Oh, what a surprise. They said there's no way I spend that much. I presented my math and explained it. Then they switched their argument. Oh, yeah, there you go. From you don't spend that much to we would get haircuts more frequently if they were affordable. I said maybe if you went in and just got the ends cut a few times a year, you wouldn't have to spend $450 to get a full cut, color, champagne, and all of that bullshit. They hated that. I sat back knowing that $700 is more than $450, while they all hollered about how expensive women's hair can. Oh, dude, I love what you did. You fucking threw a rock at the hornet's nest and then just sat back in your beekeeper outfit and watched them all buzz around the room. That's entertainment where I come from. So I sat back knowing that $700 is more than $450, while they all hollered about how expensive women's hair care is and acted like men don't spend a dime on haircuts. Well, I would also say this. My wife doesn't just get her hair done once a year. She's going in there quite frequently, so I have no idea. I have no idea what she spends, but I know, depending on what hairstyle you have, you know, and then how you want to keep it or whatever. Like, they're not just going in once a year. All right, so you can't treat them all like they're Crystal Gale, like they're just fucking hair down to their ankles. Just not getting it cut for years and years. I wonder what Crystal Gale has spent on haircuts over the years. You know what's funny? All the money she saved in not getting a haircut, she then spent in time washing her fucking hair. All right. Anyways, while they all hollered how expensive women's haircut is and acted like men don't spend a dime on haircuts, my conclusion, but black guys go to the fucking barber like once a week, it seems. So it all depends on where you are. That's actually a fascinating fucking argument, which could have been, you could have presented it in a more fun way. But what's more fun if you're just sitting there listening to six women bitching to throw logic in the middle of it just to piss them all off? There's a lot of fun to be had in this. My conclusion was that I spend more than women in Boston on haircuts. They don't believe me. They hate it. They think they're victims getting swindled, even though they spend less than me, a regular-looking guy with blonde, boring hair, on haircuts. Well, I can also tell you this. There's a lot of men paying for those women's haircuts. There's not a lot of women paying for, like, a guy goes to the barbershop. There's not some fucking, what is it? Not a sugar daddy, sugar mama paying for the fucking thing. I just want you to fly off about this because it's an example of women defying logic because they've already made up their minds about something. Well, sir, I would also say so have you. Because by your math, a woman goes to the beauty salon once a year, and that is not fucking true. I would think that they go in there every, 3 to 4 months, white women, and then, I don't know. I don't know what black women do. I'm just basing it on my wife. My wife goes more than that. And I know, and it's a fucking, not only that, it's a fucking all-day event. But then, if you want to shore up your argument, you then have to ask black guys how many times they go. You know, as far as my experience, black dudes go there on average once every 10 days. I would guess. Oh, you know what? Why do I need to guess? I have listeners. You know what? What the fuck? Let's open this up to everybody. All right, ladies, how many times, and don't be honest so we can get a good fucking answer. Stop trying to fucking win. I just want to know how often you go. I don't want to listen to you fucking talking about how much it cost, because how much it costs also depends on where you go. All right? You getting your hair highlighted in Beverly Hills, or if you're getting it fucking highlighted at the South Shore Plaza, that's the same procedure. It's two different prices. All right, so just tell me how often you go. White guys, how often you go? Once a month? Once every 6 weeks? It all depends. Then there's other people, they buy those fucking clippers with a guide, and then they don't go at all. I don't know. That's interesting. But it's also interesting, too, if out of all those 6 women there, I would be willing to bet that one of them doesn't pay for their beauty visits. One of them, at least one of them, has a man that is paying for their, if they're married, 100% they're not paying for it. The guy's paying for it. All right? And you can call that sexist or you can call that the God's truth. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying my reality. I love when my wife goes to the beauty salon. She comes home, she's fucking happy, you know? And then I'm psyched to see her. She was gone for most of the day. Absent makes the heart grow fonder. And she comes in, she looks even more gorgeous than she did when she left. I don't give a fuck. All right, shitty sequel idea. Oh, yeah, here we go. This was the thing that I was talking about when I was on Thanksgiving. We were joking about, like, doing sequels to movies that didn't need sequels and then just making them the worst fucking movie ever. So we came up with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. We came up with Two Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This time he's keeping the sink. All right? And the whole movie was about the Indian after he threw the sink through the fucking window, you know, whatever happened to the sink. And it turns out the Indian is emotionally connected to the sink. And he runs away with it like a football. And then Tommy Lee Jones, like in The Fugitive, is chasing him around the country. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to see that movie? Anyway, shitty sequel idea. Hey, Billy Bats, got stoned with some good old Puerto Rican premium ganja and got a plot for you. I present Dooffellas. In Dooffellas, the wacky sequel to Goodfellas. Oh my God, can you imagine doing that? Like Johnny Dangerously meets Goodfellas. An older, washed-up, noodles with ketchup eating Henry Hill watches in horror as his inept son Jimmy tries to rebuild the family's mob legacy despite having no skills. Wasn't this the Sammy the Bull story? Connections or common sense. Teaming up with his 2 equally clueless friends, Tony Two Left Feet and Vinny the Vegan. Vinny the Vegan is amazing. Oh, there's a question. Have you ever met a full-blooded Italian that was ever a vegan? How could you walk away from the mastery that is Italian cooking? Jimmy embarks on a series of ridiculously low-stakes crimes, from robbing porch packages to attempting a heist on a truck full of Black Friday toasters. Henry reluctantly steps in to help, only to make things worse. In a chaotic comedy of errors, the Hills must navigate their way out of the mess, proving that sometimes the only thing more dangerous than crime is sheer incompetence. He said, how about it? Complete shit, right? I'm going to get the papers. Get the papers. Go fuck yourself, amigo. I love that. Oh, God. Shitty sequel idea. Schindler's Wrist. A sequel to Schindler's List about a man's struggle with carpal tunnel syndrome after writing a list. Oh my God. That's better than any of the shit I came up with. Dude, I have this theory that regular people are becoming funnier than fucking comedians. The comments section on Instagram is second to none. It's funnier than the Dave Letterman top 10 list. And that was professional writers back in the day. All right, letting go. Hey, old Billy Greenshirt, writing from Canberra, the unknown capital of Australia. Probably even said it wrong. Need some advice. That's the capital of Australia? I would have guessed Sydney or Melbourne. Need some advice. All is well in my life, but one thing that kills me on a daily basis is not letting things go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's brutal. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting here, roasting, bacon boiling. It's like a sauna. Without going into details, I just struggle to forget old arguments or how I've acted in certain situations. I find myself reliving these arguments or situations to the point where these people are in my dreams. It kills me. How do you let shit go from your past? As always, go fuck yourself. Get some hobbies, brother. Learn how to play some Van Halen on drums. You'll be preoccupied. No. How do you let go of things in your past? I would talk to somebody about it. I think the thing you want to do first is to figure out why you're still holding on to that stuff. Like basically where that comes from. Because a lot of things like you got to let go of it. Just breathe in, breathe out, write it down on a piece of paper, and then you just crumple it up and throw it into the wastebasket. And it's like that doesn't work. It doesn't work. So the best thing you got going for yourself right now is that you are aware that you're doing this and you're aware that that's a problem. And that is a major step to solving any problem, believe it or not. Because a lot of times you're in denial or whatever the problem is, it's so encompassing that you don't even know you have it. So I would talk to a therapist, dude. If it's to the point that they're in your dreams, I would definitely go talk to a therapist. And, and therapists are just like comedians. Like, not all of them are good. Prime example, the one you're listening to right now. So you got to make sure that you get the Dave Attell of therapists as closely as you can, right? So that stuff is that's a really important thing to do for your quality of life, because that shit will affect the one life you have, and it also, that can lead to like health problems and stuff, carrying stuff like that. I used to do that. I don't anymore. And I went to years of therapy and that type of stuff. But I don't really carry a lot of shit. I will say, the times I've had problems with people is, I used to do that. You're dead to me. And I can tell you when you do that, when you say somebody's dead to you, they are going to live on in you. That's what happens with that. You're dead to me. Fuck that guy. He's fucking dead to me. Or fuck her. She's dead to me. It's like they're not. What you need to do is, what I find is, if I run into them, I squash it, and I just say, listen, man, I'm sorry this didn't work out and anything. And then you shake hands and it's over, and it really helps you, So if you have all of these people that, did something to you, and like, if you're of that ilk, which I kind of, always have vibed with people from Australia, because they have, there's an anger down there. They deal with their problems physically a lot. They get into fights and shit like that. And that, like Massachusetts, like Australia is very Massachusetts. A bunch of fucking hilarious people, a lot of them drinking too much, and a lot of them solving their problems physically. And, there's a lot of fucking trauma down there. I mean, you think that the kinds of people that they brought down there to settle, all these people that were like, I guess, from the prisons in England, they'd already gone through that, and then they came there, and then there was already people there, and then, the usual fucking white guy shit happens with the fucking genocide. There's a lot of stuff going on there. So you live in a country like that, like there's usually a lot of repressive solutions to problems. So, I learned this in like my 30s, where if I ran into an ex-girlfriend, I used to just like totally ghost him and not talk to him. And the energy that took, and then afterward, when they reacted to me not talking to them, then they would do something like I was being a dick, and then they would be cunty, and then it just got it going again. And then I would be walking down the street out of the bar talking to myself. Do you fucking think I give a fuck? I don't give a... I'd be saying that. You think I give a fuck? As I'm walking down the street, still talking to this person who's not even there. So I would make like an effort, even if you're not going to run into them, to just in your head forgive them. and like think about like, all right, so they did this to me, and empathize. Like, I've done shit like that, or I've done something like that, or what they did to me or said to me really had nothing to do with me. It's the shit that they're going through, and then say a prayer for them. Like, I hope they get whatever it is that's going on in their life, and blah. And I know none of that fucking makes sense. I'm not fucking praying for that fucking asshole. I'm telling you, you're gonna carry it forever, and then they end up having this grip on your life. And you know what's amazing is none of them are thinking about you. They're moving on, unless you had like a real thing. But a lot of times they don't even like I remember those shows where they had these talk shows, and these people would confront their high school bully. And it was just, I could see it was just so not satisfying for the person that got bullied, because they would go there and the bully was just sitting there with this fucking look on his face. And they would say, and I was in class and you said this about me, and the bully would start laughing and just being like, oh, I don't remember saying that. And then they're laughing like, oh, that's a good joke. And then they still don't realize that it hurt you or whatever. And it's like the person that got bullied just walks around and carries it for fucking decades. And the bully doesn't even remember they even did it. Like, that's how much it didn't mean to him, which ends up making the victim even madder. Like, how could you walk around doing shit like that? And it's just like, you're not going to get what you want from this person. It's an internal thing, which is a good thing for you, because you can work all of this out by yourself. And, I don't know. That's kind of like what I was able to do. And I'm actually proud to say, like, I still get into it with people, but I don't carry it. And I don't have like this, now I just look at it like going like, all right, that was probably half me, or maybe the way I joke, this person doesn't joke that way, That person's a mess. I'm a mess. It didn't work out, but God bless them. I hope everything that they want in life comes true. And I'm telling you, it's a light feeling as opposed to being like, no, fuck that guy. I hope that fucking guy, he can die of fucking ass cancer, that fucking guy. Yeah, that shit, you're the one who's going to get ass cancer. And that's one of the funny things about life. All right. Okay, that's the podcast. I will check in on you on Thursday. Go fuck yourselves. And that's it. That's all I got.